start. We'll start with Mike Wilson and then go to Jordan.
Tony, a lot of two-out hits, two-out runs for you guys, especially from Evan Russell. How big was that to get that out of your guys tonight in the series opener?
Yeah, I mean, Frank called it, the run we got in the eighth. It's just hard to put into words how big of a run that is. But, yeah, the guys had some fight to them, tonight, and it made it tough for the other pitchers to finish the inning. And we obviously saw some great stuff. But even some at-bats where there wasn't production, there seemed to be a little extra push from our guys to either extend the inning or capitalize when we were able to get guys on base.
Hey, Tony, it seemed like every time Florida was able to score a run, you all had an answer. What does that just say about this team, that they were able to be composed when the adversity kind of hit tonight?
Yeah, composure is a great word because I think we handled a really sloppy seventh inning well, or as well as we could have. We wiggled out of it, if you want to call it that. And then also Sean Hunley brings some composure out of the pen in a tough situation. But I think determination is a great word to kind of describe the group's mentality, where it's at right now, the kind of the vibe they put off. And so I think that kind of stems from that deal they got going on right now.
Next, we'll go to Ben, then Ryan, then Wes.
Tony, just with how Sean and Chad pitched last Friday in Tuscaloosa, just for them to bounce back the way that they did tonight, and Chad even had to go through some adversity tonight. Just what did you see from those two?
Yeah, I saw Chad, he got off to a really good start at Alabama. And then, the tracks got a little off course in the middle of the game. And so when he reacted the way he did when Hickey got a hold of one and kept throwing good strikes, but also just the presence and the type of strikes he was throwing, you felt good about the deal. And then as you look back now at the entire body of work, it was a complete outing. And in the SEC, I guess there have been some outings that are super, glossy or close to perfection, but, that's not who our team is. And I don't know that's who Chad is, but it is a deal where he'll do whatever it takes to help our team win. And then when he gets out of the game, he'll do the exact same thing from the bench. And the guys respond to that.
Another question about Chad, just what gave you the confidence in him in that seventh inning when he'd thrown in pitches in the 90s and then into the hundreds to keep him in the game to get out of that jam?
Part of it was his game. There were some other things that went into it, but, I think a good little rule of thumb is go with who you think the best guy is in the situation. And for whatever reason, my gut told me it was Sean Hunley really early in the game last weekend. I don't know that was fair to Chad because he's kind of the horse we're going to ride here as we move through the end of the year. But he has the stuff to get the guys out. The way he was throwing the ball was better than last week. He was under control and had conviction. Even his misses were good. But ultimately, for me, the strategic answer was he had taken ownership of that game. And it was his game to kind of sway one way or the other. And when we go into a home game with 6 outs left and really we had 9 outs left technically if we needed, and the game's tied, I like our chances.
Yeah, Tony, what is it about Evan sort of in these big moments? It seems like, you look at the average, and I know he's a little dinged up to start the season, but what is it about him just kind of in those moments? He's kind of always been like that a little bit. Yeah,
I think there's unwavering confidence there. I really do feel that way. If anything, that'll bleed sometimes into a little bit too much of feeling great, adrenaline spiking, and ultimately, either over swinging or not staying to the baseball, what have you. But there's unwavering confidence from him. And then 2, he just has an immense amount of passion. I kind of ramble on and on about Chad Dallas always kind of having that vibe that the guys want to play behind. Well, Evan's the guy that the coaching staff, and I think I can speak for his teammates, they want him on the bus, and they want him in the hotel room, and they want him in the locker room, and they want to be around him during warmups and in the dugout because he has passion oozing out of his veins. And so that plays well into some of those dramatic situations. And, the guy wears the Vol colors on his sleeve as much as anyone. So he's going to go down relentlessly dying to try and make it happen if it doesn't. But he does kind of tend to make it happen when it's a crucial moment or it's got a little bit of flair to it.
Take two more guys, Mike and Ben.
Firstly, that fly out in the 8th, I think it was, from Florida. Were you praying for wind there? I mean, what
You know,
happened there?
Pete Durkee is about as good of a teammate as you're ever going to come across. Almost too good of a teammate sometimes. He does have that killer instinct in him, but you know, he's in the game, even though he typically is our DH. He's in the game. He's actively watching, and he pointed it out to everybody before they went out on defense. The wind has picked up. And so because Pete was so demonstrative about it, when the ball was hit, I think everyone kind of knew it was going to hang up a little bit. And, you know, Steenstra and Hickey, and I don't know if there was any other balls, maybe a Rucker hit, probably go a little further if it's a different part of the day or we have a different wind today. But, you know, we'll take it however we can get it.
Then in the 7th, what was the miscommunication between Steenstra and Dallas on that pickoff that opened the gap for the single?
It was coming from our catcher. It wasn't coming from Chad, looking for a back pick, and it was just executed poorly as far as overcommitting a little too early. And, you know, credit to kids trying to find a way to win. But as intense as this league is and as complex of a league it is, you know, we just kind of talked about, you know, doing simple things great is kind of what puts you in a position to succeed. But it doesn't mean we can't do it again. I mean, heck, we technically did have a back pick later on. And I promise you, we do coach those situations. It just got a little hairy there for an inning. You got some young kids with a lot of adrenaline wanting to do well. And fortunately, we were able to kind of survive the storm or calm the seas, if you will.
Tony, just what can you say about Liam at this point, just with the back and the hamstring, just continuing to do what he does and kind of set the tone for the rest of the lineup? I mean, is it at all surprising at this point?
I mean, you have to a little bit. I mean, the guy's not playing 100%. I don't know that anybody is this time of year, but it's been a remarkable effort. I mean, the guy wants to be out there at shortstop, and we're not going to let him. So it kind of starts with that attitude. It's no surprise, I guess, that he wants to play, but I think it's, you know, surprising that he hasn't let it interfere with what he's got going on. If anything, it's kind of made him a little more determined to be good at what he can now do. And I think it's obviously been a catalyst in what we've had going on in these last few games. And his time will come where he's back out there. I mean, he likes being out there in the field, as does any kid playing full time. But somebody's got a DH for us, and it's a spot where we've, you know, been yearning for a little bit of productivity. And right now he's getting on base is the key. I mean, a double's great, but get on base. That's what the rest of the guys need to do. It's kind of become our team image.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Thanks, guys.